The following program may contain adult language and mature subject matter and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Canadian Cigar Scene with your hosts Kevin Newell and Julian Luke, right here on Reality Radio 101. To contact the lads now, live dial 905-725-1907. Toll free in North America, 1-866-905-7325. Worldwide, 1-866-656-5477. Email us right now, realityradio101@yahoo.com. And now, your hosts of Canadian Cigar Scene, Julian Luke and Kevin Newell.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Canadian Cigar Scene with your hosts, me and you.
And I.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. The Jays have clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're going tonight for the overall lead in the American, aren't they?
Well, they're in the overall lead right now with over KC, but Toronto win tonight and Yankees lose. They win the American League East, so that's huge.
Yeah.
First time in 20,000 years we made the playoffs.
That's going to be a reason for a victory cigar if ever I heard one.
Absolutely. I saw on Saturday the celebration in the Jays change room or whatever the hell you call it. Guys were smoking cigars. It was awesome.
Were they?
Yeah, it was pretty
I'd
cool.
love to know what brand it was.
Yeah, it was Cohiba.
Oh, was it?
It was pretty simple. It was.
Right.
Yeah, it was blatant. It was. So what the hell are we doing this for, Jew?
Hey, this is all about education. I mean, all across Canada, we got people that enjoy premium cigars, but they may not have a tobacconist in their neck of the woods, and they may not understand where the cigars come from. So the more we can educate people and let them know what the premium cigar and pipe industry is all about, the better.
Absolutely. Here's to that, and praise the Cubans and everybody else for making these fantastic cigars. A shout out to all of our listeners, everyone from the guys in Nepal, Poland, Russia, Jamaica, Germany, Finland, Denmark. We're killing it, man. We're killing it.
I'm going to Kathmandu. Absolutely.
Sounds like a plan. Just let me know when you're booking that time, okay? You got 2 days. We got a fantastic guest here tonight. This is we're going off the beaten path tonight. Absolutely off the beaten path. Tonight we have, instead of talking cigars, we're going to be talking about pipe smoking. And we brought in a special guest of ours all the way from Elliott Lake. Took the slow train down. He left in 72, and he just reached here. So I'd like to welcome our special guest, Doug Robbins.
Well, thanks very much for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. He is our resident pipe guru at Victory Cigars.
I think the word expert actually is probably more appropriate. I think Doug is an expert.
He looks guru-ish, though, doesn't he?
I like guru myself.
Yeah, see?
Nice guru?
Yeah, guru. He's got the beard going, you know?
What about consultant? What about pipe consultant?
No, I like guru.
Suck it.
Consultant sounds like you're going to have to pay me big bucks, and that's not going to happen. So let's just stick
Hey,
with
that's
guru.
right. What the hell? Is this a paying gig? Jesus Christ. How long have you been smoking a pipe for, Doug?
I started smoking a pipe probably about 1972. you hit it right on. Your dates were off for locations, but that was when I started smoking a pipe.
Oh man, what made you? I mean, why? Why'd you pick up a pipe?
I really don't know, because at that time my dad didn't smoke a pipe. He smoked an occasional cigar, but there was something about the pipe that I just said, I want to smoke a pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So I went in, and these are back in the days before Walmart. We had Woco. We had a smoke shop in Woco.
Yep.
So I go into the smoke shop in Woco, and I buy a medical pipe,
Yep.
and I start smoking sale aromatic tobacco. And it took me 6 months of pain and suffering before I talked to that tobacconist, so-called, close to it as we had at the time.
Yep.
And he says, well, you need to be in a better pipe. You need to be in smoking better tobacco.
No, so he did give you some sort of direction. Then,
Oh,
did he?
yeah. Yeah,
good.
he steered me to a Brigham pipe, and
Perfect.
I'd gone through every available pouch tobacco at the time, all the Danish blends, the cherries, you name it. And every one of them, it just didn't work for me. And he says, here, try a can of Aaron Moore, which is kind of a more of an English blend with a slight aromatic. And for years, that's all I smoked was Aaron Moore tobacco in my single Brigham pipe.
So I think we should back up just quickly, just for the listeners here that don't quite understand what the hell you're talking about right now when you're talking about aromatic tobaccos and English tobaccos. That's obviously two ends of the spectrum in pipe tobacco, correct?
They overlap more than one might think, but basically an English type tobacco has nothing more added to it than tobacco and what they call casing, which is usually a sugar product. It can be sugar, it can be molasses, maple sugar, something like that. And it's designed just so that it will clump together.
Okay.
An English style has something added to it to make it aromatic, and that's why they call them aromatics. It will have coconut, or it'll have cherry, or it'll have maple syrup, or
that's the aromatic tobaccos.
That's the aromatic tobacco. It has a topping added to it in the process to make it. Basically, it was designed in such a way to make the smoke smell better, so that when people were smoking in their drawing rooms and after dinner, that sort of thing, the wives liked the smell.
So that's called room note, correct?
That's called room note, and aromatic pipe tobacco gives amazing room notes. You walk into a room and say, oh, wow, that brings back memories of my grandfather.
Sure. I've heard that many a time in the shop. I want to smoke what my grandfather smoked.
Precisely.
Yeah. So, it's kind of funny, eh? Do you think even back in the 70s, back in those days, was English tobaccos as popular as aromatic tobaccos then?
By no means.
Okay.
By no means, because pipe tobacco is sold in pouches or tins or in bulk. The only place you find it in bulk is at tobacconists. But the pouches, in the day, you could buy them at every corner store. You could buy them at all the truck stops. And they were all, as far as I can remember, they were all aromatics.
Okay. But all readily available for people, right?
Oh, very readily available.
Yeah.
We found in the store that when people are real newbies, we describe aromatics, they smell like candy, and English blends smell like campfire. We call them candy and campfire, and it helps people understand what it's going to smell like, because an English tobacco really does smell like a campfire when you smell it. It's got that almost like a hickory smell to it.
So what is it? What is it exactly that's giving it that mesquite campfire smell?
That is the Latakia tobacco that does that.
Okay.
That's a tobacco. Originally, it was obtained from Syria and from Cyprus. And because of the situation in Syria now over the last 7 or 8 years, that market has gone. So now all of the Latakia comes from Cyprus.
Okay.
But it's the process that it's done. And Latakia tobacco is cured over smoke.
Okay.
And there's lots of urban myths about it. But basically, it's just wood fires in the curing kilns, and it just creates a smoky environment, so the tobacco, as it cures, takes on that smoke.
Very interesting, because there's a few companies in the cigar industry right now. Drew Estates with their Kentucky Fire Cured. San Lucia is using that as well. That they're starting to cure cigar tobacco with fire curing, and really does take on that hint of the smoke itself.
They're finally recognizing that they've got to all come over to the pipe side sooner or later.
See, we call it the dark side.
That's
The
right.
dark side,
Yeah,
okay?
that's right.
Yeah, but I'm just joking. It's all good. You know what? The smokers, premium cigar smokers, and pipe smokers are all the same for us. They're all they're all in the same boat here, which is fantastic.
I would put one caveat out there, though, to a new pipe smoker. Wherever you're buying it, and talk to a knowledgeable person, and start out with an English-style tobacco. And the reason for that, the aromatic tobaccos will tend to burn a little hotter, so that your pipe will be hotter to hold, and you'll get a hotter smoke into your mouth, which gives you what's called tongue bite. It's like a burning sensation on your tongue, and it's not pleasant at all. And it's accented in new smokers because sometimes they draw too heavily. So if you start out with I always start anybody that talks to me about a new pipe, I like to start them on an English style, and then say, okay, now here are your other options. Once you're used to smoking your pipe, by all means, try these others. Aromatic pipe tobaccos are hugely popular.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. Even in our shop, you know, I mean, we sell a lot more aromatic tobacco than we do English. I think it's just for the simple fact that people haven't had the experience with English tobaccos in their, you know, when they get that first smell of the tobacco itself, it can be a little bit overbearing sometimes for a stronger English blend, anyways. But you know, it's a very good information for a new pipe smoker to try that sort of a milder English blend. And there's even like bridge tobaccos between the two that, you know, sort of have the notes of a bit of sweetness with a bit of latakia in it as well. That might be a good idea, wouldn't you? Would you say?
Yeah, Aaron Moore is a perfect example of that. Aaron Moore mixture.
Okay.
It's an old Irish blend. It's currently made by a Scandinavian Tobacco Group, but it's always been. They've never said what's in it, so there's always been a huge controversy.
Okay.
Is it aromatic? Is it English?
Okay.
So it's probably a good example of a bridge tobacco.
So let's carry on from there. Just when you're talking about Aaron Moore, I know that Aaron Moore Flake. I mean, that's been around since Christ was a cowboy, right? So we have a flake tobacco as opposed to like I mean, there's many different cuts of pipe tobaccos, correct?
Yep.
I mean, you could go. I mean, maybe you can explain what a flake tobacco is and how would you smoke that?
Okay, first off, flake tobacco was developed in the time of sailing ships. Flake tobacco is compressed into cakes under high pressure, and sometimes held under pressure for up to a month.
Okay.
And then this cake that is maybe 2 feet square and 4 or 5 inches thick is cut into smaller sections, and then it's sliced into flakes about 1/8 of an inch, generally thick.
Almost like a sheet sort of thing,
Yeah.
is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So this flake, you take it out of the tin as a new smoker, and you've just bought a tin of flake tobacco, and you just think it's something neat. Give it a try. It's a nice name. So you take it out, and you've got this flat piece of tobacco, maybe 1.5 inches long and 1 inch wide. And, well, this doesn't fit in my pipe. What do I do with it? So you have two options. You can put it in your hand. You can kind of shred it up, which is a laborious job in a lot of cases. But the way it was designed to be smoked is to take that flake, fold it in half lengthways, and then bend it over on itself, and it will kind of just balloon out a little bit. And you squeeze that down, put it down in your pipe, and just twist it around to open it up a little bit.
Okay.
The biggest mistake most people make with flake is putting too much in their pipe. Because it's very condensed, very packed, very hard. As it starts to burn, it will expand. And when it expands, you'll plug your pipe where it won't smoke.
Oh, okay.
So you always err on the side of caution, a little less, but it gives a tremendous flavor.
Okay.
The reason they used it on sailing ships, it took up less space.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So the difference between packing your pipe, I mean, that is basically one of the hardest things for people to figure out as a new pipe smoker. Is that correct? Would you say?
I would say that's the problem that most new pipe smokers have. And the reason being that there's so many variables. Like, there's probably 100 different methods out there on the internet how to pack a pipe.
Okay. So
what works for me with a standardized tobacco, and I say standardized, anything except flake. You've got cube cuts, you've got ribbon cuts, you've got various forms, combinations of them. And what I do is just fill a pipe loose, and then I draw on it, put it in my mouth and actually test the suction on it as I'm packing. So that first fill will pack down to about 1/3 of the bowl, and then you fill up and keep doing that. But always be drawing on it when you pack, because you always want to have some resistance, but making sure you get air through.
So are you using more pressure with each fill?
I don't. I tend to on my initial pack, I get it to the draw that I want it, and then everything more I add, I just keep it to that draw.
Okay.
Because I'm with experience, you get to know what works in your pipe and with your system of smoking.
Right.
But it's a very individual thing, and it's something that it's one of those things. Practice. It's like getting to Carnegie Hall. The only way there is practice, practice, practice.
I was looking for directions, and you're going the opposite.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So So lighting the pipe. I mean, typically you're using a match, you're using a torch, you're using a butane, Zippo. What's
Okay. First off, you want to stay away from your torch that you love for your cigars, because the chances of scorching your actual pipe or your fingers is very great.
Okay.
Your fingers will heal, your pipe won't.
No.
You can do some serious damage because a pipe is briar. It's made of wood. It will burn. It will char. Matches are fine, or a butane soft flame lighter. And what you want to do on your first light is just evenly light the whole top surface of your pipe. I'm waving my hands around. The guys are laughing at me, but I have to. That's how I talk. You can't see it out there in
We
radio.
fed you Italian for supper. That's
what it is.
I think it was the 6 beer he had.
That could be too. So your first light, you don't even want to try to keep it going. And this is what most people think, oh, it's like a cigar. If I have to relight my cigar, people laugh. Not with a pipe. With your first light, when you look at it, when you run your lighter around it, you'll see the cigar, the tobacco rather, in the pipe kind of puff up a little bit. What that's doing, it's just as it lights, it starts to burn, and it just expands. That's what tobacco does.
Yep.
That's why you have to have airflow through the pipe to allow it to do that as you smoke down. But the flip side of that is when that first part does, then you let it go out. Just tamp it down lightly with your finger or pipe tool, whatever. I just use my finger because it's ash. You're not going to burn yourself.
And you're old school at this. You've been doing it for...
And I've been doing it for
that's
40
right.
years.
To the listeners at home, he's got a callus the size of California on his finger, so trust me. Use a tamper, okay?
Okay, I'll give in. Use the tamper, but
use your finger, Alice.
You'll soon enough realize the tamper's not as handy. It's just tapping it down with your finger and relighting. The second light then will light and be very even, and that's the light that you can continue and usually smoke right down through the rest of the bowl of tobacco.
Okay, cool.
And how long would a bowl of tobacco when you're smoking it? Like generally, how long does that take?
I'll use just what I would call a standard size bowl, and I won't get into the specifics of that. But anywhere you go and ask about pipes, they'll know what a standard bowl is. A standard bowl will go 40 to 50 minutes or more, depending on the tobacco. But almost any tobacco you can count on, say, around 3/4 of an hour to a bowl of tobacco.
Wow. So what people don't realize here is that actually, if you do the math on this, pipe smoking is far more economical than cigar smoking, isn't it?
Oh, you better believe it.
Where's the mute button? Gary, mute his mic.
Buying premium pipe tobacco, and I'm talking the high-end tin tobaccos. You're looking with a pipe, a standard size bowl, once again, about $2.50 a bowl.
And just to let everybody know, I know there's a lot of people in other countries listening. In Canada, due to our marvelous government who sucks bag, they've put this exorbitant amount of tax on our pipe tobacco. So just to give you an indication of what pipe tobacco costs in Canada, in Ontario itself, basically about a 50-gram tin of tobacco runs between $35 to $40, and that's without HST of 13%. So
they hammered pipe tobacco 3 times in 2013.
Yes,
yeah,
I remember that well.
Well, I'm looking here. You know what? I think this is the first time in 15 shows that I've seen our producer Gary just sitting there mesmerized by one of our guests. And Gary as a pipe smoker himself is just. I think he's loving this show. What do you think, Gary?
Amazing.
Well, you know what? We're going to come back and try and fire up a few more questions with Doug and Ju here, and we'll get Gary on as well. Maybe Gary's got a quick question for him as well. Just to let everybody know, you're listening to Canadian Cigar Scene on Reality Radio 101.
Chris Lee West Indian Market has been serving the West Indian community for over 15 years. Visit their new location at 20 Harwood Avenue South, Unit 7 at Harwood and Kingston Road in Ajax. They have a wide variety of Oriental, East, and West Indian groceries, fresh fish, meat, and vegetables. Load up your cart with goodies from the island at very reasonable prices. They have weekly specials such as non-alcoholic wine at 2 bottles for $5. Visit Chris Lee West Indian Groceries at 20 Harwood Avenue South, Unit 7 at Harwood Avenue and Kingston Road in Ajax, or call them right now, 905-426-2111. That's 905-426-2111. When you visit Peacock Lumber, you will step back in time. to a place where purchasing wood products was simple, efficient, and pleasant. In our office, you can view our large selection of moldings and receive advice from knowledgeable sales staff. Once you have decided on your order, you can pick up your materials in our drive-through yard or utilize our delivery service. For pickups, take your vehicle out to our traditional lumber yard, where someone is always there to assist you. If you are accustomed to purchasing wood products at a box store, you will be impressed by the variety, selection, and quality of products that we offer, and the ease in which you get your vehicle loaded and get you on your way. Peacock Lumber is conveniently located on 8 acres in central Oshawa. It was started in 1939 by Victor Peacock and remains family-owned and operated. If you need quality wood products for your renovation, please call us at 905-725-4744. That's 905-725-4744. Or, for a full list of products and prices, go to www.peacocklumber.ca. Come to Peacock Lumber first to get the price, selection, quality, and service that you expect.
The following program may contain adult language and mature subject matter and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Welcome back to Canadian Cigar Scene with your hosts Jillian Luke and Kevin Newell, right here on Reality Radio 101. Send us an email right now, realityradio101@yahoo.com.
They're saying, Chess, you've got to kill the queen and then you made it. Oh, do you?
And now, back to your hosts, Kevin Newell and Julian Luke.
Welcome back, everybody. You know what? People are loving this show. I'm getting tweets and texts and emails. Wow. The funny thing was, Julian and Doug had a quick arm wrestle to see if we're going to rename the show Canadian Cigar and Pipe Scene.
Yeah,
and
no kidding, eh?
Thank Christ you won, Jew. Jesus H.
No, I want us a Canadian pipe scene.
Oh, here we go. Get your own show, Doug. Let's go through quick Victory Cigar events. What do you think, Jew?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is where you say get a pencil?
Get a pencil and jot them down. All right, all right.
Jesus,
Yeah, people know by now.
What happened to tradition here? Saturday, October 17th, we're having our very first accessories event with Cigar. Rich Gambino's coming in all the way from Buffalo.
And I hear you might be on the show the Tuesday beforehand. We're crossing our fingers on that.
Yeah, and I hear there's going to be a ton of swag at Victory that day. So if you like Cigar shit, get in the shop. The week of November 20th, Victory Cigars is going to be celebrating its 6th anniversary. Hard to believe, eh?
I'm thinking we should maybe bring some entertainment, like maybe those Maple Suns guys back in that week and do a bit of a party.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think Bernie and Troy, their voices, they played 8 hours of music that 2 weeks ago. Their voices might be back by then.
No, they'll be back.
They'll
be back. They'll be fine.
I think we might just have to bring them in then.
All right. And also, we've got some other cigar scene happenings. Mombacho Cigars is celebrating their 10th anniversary party at Casa Favili. That's in Granada, Nicaragua. That will be in January 2016. So if you're interested in going to that, contact the folks at mombachocigars.com. Marcus. Shout out to Walper's Tobacco Shop in 15 King Street West in Kitchener, Ontario. If folks are traveling to the Kitchener area, any of you physicists that are going to the Perimeter Institute want to get some tobacco for your pipe, Walper's is where you want to go to. They're located in the Walper Hotel. Naturally enough, they're Canada's oldest tobacconist, and you can find them at www.walpertobacco.com, and the Walper is spelled WALPER. And lastly, Cigar Aficionado magazine has announced a big smoke for November 13th to 15th in Las Vegas. Tickets are now on sale at cigaraficionado.com. Back to you, Kevin and Doug.
All right, Douglas, as we like to call you. I'm a new smoker. I decide, I've been dabbling in cigars. I decide, hey, one day I've decided I'm going to want to start smoking a pipe. What kind of a pipe do I choose?
Okay, this is something I've been doing more of recently because it seems like every time I walk into Victory Cigars, they say, "Oh, we got somebody here that needs to talk to you."
Mm-hmm.
This is my advice to someone who's never smoked a pipe and has no experience with it. And this will sound strange because I love my pipes. I love acquiring pipes. Start out with a corncob pipe.
Really?
It's made from an actual corn cob with usually a bamboo stem on it or a plastic stem attached to the end. But a corncob pipe for a beginner, it smokes cool. It has a nice, easy draw. You cannot make any mistakes with it. They're built in such a way you can't even burn one out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take your brand new briar pipe and burn it out the first time you put tobacco in if you don't know what you're doing. So start with a corncob pipe, learn on it. You'll get 50, 60 smokes out of it for $10, $12.
Wow.
And if that's what it's for, then you pick out a pipe. When it comes to picking out a pipe, then you go and you visit your local pipe shop. You do research online if you want, whatever. Talk to other pipe smokers. Hold on to pipes. Put them in your hand and get the feel of them. Kevin's laughing right now because he and I have a standing thing. If I walk in the shop and he's got a new pipe in, he hands it to me. If I hold it in my hand without fidgeting for more than 3 or 4 minutes,
I got him.
It doesn't leave my hand. The other hand goes for my wallet.
That's right.
But
always said the
pipes are
chooses.
very personal, and you'll probably have a preconceived idea. But when you start looking at them, you'll see different shapes. But feel them. If you're in a shop that you just have to look at behind glass, run for the hills.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to feel. Now, do not, I can't stress this enough, that pipe you're looking at, do not stick it in your mouth to see how it feels.
That's happened a couple of times.
Because that means you just bought that pipe, whether you like it or not.
They bought them.
Yeah. And every shop's the same way. But I just caution people because that's going to be the instinctive thing to do. That's the one thing you can't do.
That's right.
But get a feel for it. Check out the different shapes. See what feels right in your hand. Worst case scenario, find a mirror and see how it looks in your hand up to your mouth. Even.
That's right.
But for most people, it's how it feels in their hand. That's why I say pick a pipe that way. Finish, all those things come into it. But there's no point in me saying what works because nothing works for anybody but you.
It's very personal, isn't it?
It's very, very personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Is for you as a veteran pipe smoker, been doing it forever. Is there
guru? I think
guru. Oh yeah, we went through that. Is there like a season for your pipe, or do you find that you're just switch back and forth? Like, how do you? I mean, double question here. I mean, is there a season for it, and how do you find? Like, I mean, you're a big cigar smoker as well. How do you decide which one you want to smoke?
It just comes down to what I feel like that day.
Mm-hmm.
As far as season, there's only one time a year that I really enjoy the pipe. And that's any time between January and December.
Okay, so that's narrowed it down.
Yeah, but cigars are in the same thing. But as to the cigar smokers out there, there's days you feel like a Cuban. There's days like you feel like a Nicaraguan. There's days like you feel like a really nice, smooth cigar from the Dominican. Mm-hmm. And with the pipe, it's the same thing because every pipe smoker ends up having several tins of tobacco on the go. Mm-hmm. And they're all different, and you just have one that you say, well, okay, this one's a really heavy smoke. High Latakia, I just love the flavor of it. It's not overly strong, but it's a rich flavor. There's other times you say, well, something lighter, and it's just like a cigar. It just depends on the day and on the mood you're in.
Yeah, the time of day.
Yep.
And I guess the beauty of it is with a bowl of tobacco, you can regulate how much tobacco you put in the bowl.
Precisely.
To accommodate the amount of time you have.
I can pack from probably about the minimum that works is probably about 20 minutes.
Okay.
To get it lit properly in that. But I can time it from 20 minutes depending on the tobacco and the size of my pipe.
And you're not wasting tobacco that way,
I'm
right?
not wasting tobacco, and I don't feel rushed.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm sure there's many of you out there smoking cigars that you've decided to smoke one at lunchtime and then it's smoked a little slower than you thought, so at the end you're just hauling on it to try to get that pleasure out of it, and you might as well throw it away because you're not getting any pleasure out of it.
You're not enjoying it at that point. That's
so,
right.
So yeah, that's a good point. You can regulate the amount you smoke at a time, and that has its place. Generally, however, when I get a pipe out, it's because I've decided I've got time to fill that bowl completely and thoroughly enjoy it.
And I've always told people, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but with a pipe, you have to enjoy the ritual, correct?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it is a ritual.
I had somebody just this past week that I reintroduced to pipes. He's had a pipe. He got rid of his pipe. He decided he wanted to try it again. And then he texted me. He says, it's funny. He says, I came home from work the other day. I filled my pipe. I sat there. And he says, I really enjoyed the ritual. And that was what I hated about the idea of pipes as a cigar smoker, was all this fuss you had to go through. And he says, now I get it.
Yeah. Maybe we can quickly go through that ritual. What's involved in, okay, I've just had a great bowl of tobacco, okay?
Okay.
What the heck do I do next?
Okay, the first thing you should usually do is just run a pipe cleaner down through your pipe from the mouthpiece through into the bowl.
Can I back you up just one sec?
Yep.
So I've got this bowl of ash. Is that,
okay. Sorry, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just curious on what the heck that... Does it just fall out of the bowl, or...?
Most of it will fall out of the bowl. If you've smoked it down completely, it will just fall out of the bowl.
Okay.
If it doesn't, use a pipe tool to just very gently loosen whatever's left and let it fall out of the bowl.
Can you damage the bowl at that point in time?
You can damage the bowl if you tap it on a hard surface. The briar is hot. You can actually crack the bowl. You can ruin a pipe.
So that's probably the most delicate time for that pipe.
That
right?
is the most delicate time. It's also when you should not take the stem out of the bowl, because the shank has expanded with the heat. It's briar. It expands on the outside and toward the inside, so it clamps down onto the bit. And if you try to take the bit out while it's hot to clean it, you can break the shank, and once again you're into either an expensive repair and possibly replacing the pipe.
Okay.
So we've let the pipe cool down now after running the pipe cleaner through. Now you can take it apart once it's cool to the touch, and that only takes 15-20 minutes.
Yep.
You can take the shank out, the mouthpiece out of the pipe, and then properly run a pipe cleaner through again into the bowl, make sure that the airway is clear. And that's the main amount of maintenance you have to do. Now, you can get into a situation where usually happens with aromatics. You've got an aroma in your pipe you just don't like. At that point, I take just a small amount of handy-dandy pipe cleaning fluid, which in my case is Alberta Premium Rye Whiskey.
Shock me.
Yeah.
Just to eat sugar.
There's all kinds of products on the market, and I know these guys sell some of them. I don't prefer to put anything in my pipe that I wouldn't put in my mouth. So I use whiskey or rum to clean out a pipe. It draws any aromas out of your pipe that linger in it, cleans them up. You don't leave it sit. You just put it in, swirl it around with a Q-tip, clean it out, dump it out, let it dry for an hour. Okay. You're good to go.
Wow. That's insane, eh? Gary's still looking here. Gary, you got
I'm mesmerized, man. You can come on every week.
That's fantastic.
We've been fired.
Gary, do you have any questions or anything?
No,
Sure.
that pretty much answered it, except one thing again for ignition. Say, would you prefer matches than a lighter normally?
No, I purchased a pipe lighter, which is a soft flame butane lighter, but the flame comes out the sides, so it just you angle it a little bit and it comes right down in the bowl.
Right.
I like that over matches, because with matches you have to be careful. When you light a match, you have to watch that all of that chemical on the end burns off before you light a pipe or a cigar or anything with it. You should burn all that off, so you're just burning the wood.
Okay.
Because otherwise you've got the sulfur and everything that's in that chemical compound that makes a match. You're drawing that into your pipe. And once again, that's a combination of stuff that I just don't think I want to eat.
Sure.
Or to ingest.
And the beauty of those pipe lighters, Gary, is they also have pipe tools attached to them as well. So, you've got all your stuff. You got your lighter and your pipe tools all in one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I will be in.
Which works out great. Gary, I'm looking at the time here.
Yep.
And I got George calling at the bit here to his show at 7:30. So I can't thank you enough, Doug. It's been a fantastic and enlightening show for the pipe people and myself as well. You never stop learning in this business, and I'd like to thank you for not only being on the show, but helping us with our pipe customers. You've been fantastic.
Well, it's always a pleasure to help somebody in the fraternity, and smoking has given me a lot of pleasure over the years, so I like to pass that on.
Perfect. Jew, in passing and leaving?
I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their night. Next week, we're still negotiating with our guests, so tune in or go to cigarscene.ca, and you'll be able to find out by the end of the week who our guest is going to be next week on the show. Perfect.
Everybody, you know where to contact us, radio@victorycigars.ca, Twitter, contact Julian. He is Horatio. Don't forget our Instagram at Victory Cigars, and we have Facebook page as well. Just find us at Victory Cigars. Hope Sultana is enjoying the new Wi-Fi in the hut. Shout out to you, my friend. You're a beauty. Again, thank you to everybody for listening, and we will be back again next week. It is time for a cigar.
Or a pipe.
You have been listening to Canadian Cigar Scene with your hosts Kevin Newell and Julian Luke. right here on Reality Radio 101.
Well, I always had a deep respect